Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you all are doing good today. I have got two special topics for you guys, and there are international topics as far as PIB news is concerned. So let's crack on with our first topic, and it is about the skyrocketing fuel prices. From last 10 straight days, what we are finding is that fuel price has consistently, it has been consistently going up, and this is bad for economy. We are going to basically understand implication or ripple effect of this thing and what are the steps that government needs to take. Now, there are two reasons behind this skyrocketing fuel price. The first one is weakening rupees. So how it works is, say for example, this is our Indian rupees and this is US dollar, for example. And let's imagine that today the price of $1 or the value of $1 is 50 rupees, and tomorrow it's going to be, for $1 you have to pay 60 rupees. So you can see here that tomorrow it is going to go up by 10 rupee. So just imagine that there is a product called ABC in international market. If you are buying this ABC from USA, for example, then you will be paying the value or the price is $1. Right, let's take this hypothetical example that for one ABC you have to give $1. So if you are purchasing it today, you will be paying what, 50 rupees. So that means if you are importing this item ABC today in our country, then you will be paying 50 rupees. But if you import it tomorrow, when the value of rupee will go down, then you will be paying 60 rupees. So from this example, I believe it's clear that when the value of rupee depreciates, what happens is that imports, right, they become expensive. I hope this thing is clear to you. Now, what about exporters, right? Just imagine, let's reverse this whole example. Let's imagine that this ABC is a product that is produced in our country and we are selling it to America or any other country, and the money that we are accepting is dollar, for example. So if you are exporting something today and the value of this ABC is 50 rupees compared to value of this rupee is for $1 you have to pay 50 rupees, right? And the selling price of this ABC is $1, for example, in international market. So if you are exporting something, all right, then earlier on what used to happen is that you used to get for $1, right? If you sell it today, then you get 50 rupees. But if you are selling it tomorrow, then you will get 60 rupees. So it's good for exporters if the value is going down, but for importers it's not a good news if the value of rupee is going down. So this is one of the reason, right? I'm sure you have got the point here that nearly 80% of our fuel, right, we import this fuel items from, or crude oil from international markets. So if rupee is going down, then we will be paying more rupee for the same product. At the same time, what has happened in international market is that this crude oil, that is the raw material, right, we purchase in Brent crude oil. So this crude oil price has gone up as well because of this mismatch in demand and supply. So these are two reasons, but with this we have understood a very important concept of economy as well. Now the thing is, couple of weeks ago, or not a couple of weeks ago, but a few months ago, government took this decision. Government decided that now it is going to sink this retail prices of petrol and diesel with international price of crude. And at that point of time, people were all right with it. Means, of course, there was a little bit of friction or resistance, but eventually people understood the situation that we know that we import these items from international markets, so there is hardly anything that we can do about it. But at that point of time, people supported it. But if we go back and see 2015, when the price of this Brent crude oil was somewhere around $40 per barrel, or it was that low. If you go back and see 2013, then it was somewhere around $120 per barrel. Can you imagine this thing, that for one barrel of Brent crude oil we used to pay $120 back in 2013 and 14, but in 2015 it was $40. So at that point of time, we haven't enjoyed this fall in international market of price of this crude oil in international market. So this is something that government should take into consideration, that when the prices are going down at that point of time, they should at least pass this benefit to us. But anyways, at that point of time, it was said that it will help in developmental projects and other things, and that is right as well. This is something that we have to keep in mind. That is important for that it is important for government to have some regular source of revenue and things like that. Now, if we analyze, if you break it down, this whole price that we are finding at present, if you take example of Delhi, then petrol price is 79.31 per liter, and in this 79.31, 46% is tax of central and state government. Now, if you go to various different states, say for example in Mumbai, the price of petrol is 80 rupees plus. So this also means that even today, petrol and these fuel items are not under the purview of GST. Various different states, they have their own tax calculations. They apply various different rates on this fuel item. So this is the reason why we find this sort of, you can say, at one place the fuel is expensive, at the other place it is a bit cheaper comparatively, of course. The other thing is, from last 4 years, the government has consistently, increased this central excise duty on petrol. If we see, then since this Modi government came in, they have increased 105% duty on petrol. That is 19.48 rupees per liter. On diesel, it has been hiked up to 331%. Can you believe this thing? The other thing is, recently we have observed that Q1 of this financial year, we got this rate of a growth rate report, and we clocked 8.2%, which is not bad. And it was driven because of this, the main engine for this, or you can say the main reason behind this 8.2% is high consumption. So now when things are, going bit rough at present, this rupee is falling down and Brent crude oil price is going up in international markets. So this is the time when government should, reduce this heavy tax that is applied on this fuel. What will happen because of this is that if you decrease the price of fuel, if the fuel price is going up, then you know that it is going to kick inflation, because everything will become expensive. All your items are transported via trucks or trains or aeroplanes or etc. So if fuel prices are going up, then transportation charges will go up and it will kick inflation. So it's going to be bad for the whole economy, particularly when we have achieved this 8.2 in recent past. So we can, keep on, you can say, fueling this growth. We can maintain this pace, and one of the way of doing it is by reducing these taxes on this fuel item. So what will happen is, when you reduce this fuel taxes, people will have more money in their hand in terms of saving. And when people have money, what they will do is either they will invest or they will spend this item in, they will do some sort of expenses. They will buy some products because they are getting a bit cheaper. So this is how it works, demand and supply thing. So if we do this thing right, then we can spur this economic growth. At the same time, more items will be purchased by people, so government will earn money from this GST collection. So it's going to be, it's going to be equal. It's not going to be that government is going to have some wide fiscal deficit. And if we compare ourselves with Pakistan, then we find that in Pakistan, average price of petrol is 51.43 rupees per liter. They too, just like us, they import their crude or this energy. But if we compare the price of Pakistan with Delhi, then we find that it is 33% more than us. So these are the things that basically government can, there is a good chance that it can reduce this tax on this fuel items, and it will enrich both consumers as well as exchequers. With this difference, if you are preparing for state PSC exams, then we have got various different pen drive and tablet courses for different states. To find out more about it, check out StudyIQ.com. With this, if you want to download the PDF of today's lecture, you will get it from my Facebook page and Twitter handle. And may I request you guys to please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. If you download this PDF file, then please make sure that you share it, because you are the ones who are listening it and going through it on regular basis. You know the quality, you know the positive and negatives and everything, whatever it is with this video series. You know the thing, right? You are the brand ambassador. So it's my humble request for sharing this lecture with other students. There are so many students out there, and I do get messages many a times that they are not aware about what PIB is all about, how it is important. So please help me with this mission. With this, dear friends, the second item that I have for you is about Kerala floods, and it's less about Kerala, but I would say that it's more about disaster management, right? It's a big picture that we are going to go through. Basically, the points that I have got for you guys, I have got it from an article that was written by a person called T. Nanda Kumar. And T. Nanda Kumar was former secretary of government, as well as he has worked in this National Disaster Management Authority as well at a very high position. So points or things shared by him have some experience as well, you know, because he has observed all this thing. He has gone through many such disasters. So what he says is that the real heroes of this disaster, this Kerala flood disasters, are this ordinary citizens, youngsters and other people. You know, they came out irrespective of this religion, ideology or status differences. Everyone was spontaneously out there, you know, helping each other, and we have seen so many good pictures as well. You know, youngsters are carrying some elderly people behind their back and making sure that they are you know, transported to a safer place and things like that. In fact, fishermen community, they played a very important role as well. They were there, you know, rescuing people and all these things. So what we can learn, what is the hidden message in this thing? The hidden message is that the potential of our people, as well as their bent of mind, you know, the people in our country, as you can see here, right, they are ready to help each other during this sort of time. So what we need to do is we need to positively channelize this strength that we have. Now we know that the relief part is nearly over, so the next stage will be repair, rehabilitation and rebuilding. Now as we are doing this repairing, rehabilitation thing and rebuilding the whole or the damaged portion of Kerala, it's also an opportunity for us, if we'll take it positively, that we have a, you know, new opportunity to start everything from scratch. We can get rid of all these errors that we have done, or we have you know, all those mistakes like encroaching riverbeds and other things. We can get rid of all those mistakes, but for that we have to make sure that whatever we do, it should have these 4 items in it. Stronger, we need to rebuild our Kerala or any state, or these points that we are discussing today will help you with any sort of disaster management. If you find a question on disaster management, and it's a topic that you find every year in your mains examination, you may find a question or a topic of essay as well based on disaster management. So if you're talking about it, then I have some points for you that will help you a lot, I believe. So stronger not from engineering point of view only, but it should be stronger from reduction in vulnerability point of view as well. The second thing is faster, right? The normal life, normalizing this life and making sure that everything is back to normal as soon as possible, particularly livelihood needs of the people. Inclusive, that means all stakeholders concerned, you know, they should be part of planning and everything. And the fourth one is sustainability. That means being in tune with environment. Now, these are the 4 things. You can say this is a basic framework, or you can say it's more like a sachet, you know, of this whole new rehabilitation and rebuilding process that is going to take place. Now, there are a few points that we can talk about, like say for example, we can start it on like a, you know, war footing or mission mode, rebuild Kerala sort of campaign, where you can rope in and you can make all these youngsters as well as this you know, if we can get technical inputs or new ideas, IT support or man hours, or you know, any sort of support, if it is coming from volunteers or from various different stakeholders, NGOs and society and other things, then we need to bring it in, we need to rope them in, and we should, you know, the whole planning should be based on multiple ideas. There should be a body or something that can go through all these ideas and analyze these ideas and look at this implementation or practicality of these ideas. And then if we have some people who can, you know, provide IT support or technical inputs or any other expertise they have, then we need to bring them in to rebuild a particular state of Kerala or any other state or in future. We need to accept this fact as well, that if our development is going to be in conflict with environment, then we are going to face similar situations in future as well, right? So Whatever we do, it should be eco-friendly. At the same time, it should not be people unfriendly. It should be people friendly. That's a very important thing, right? We need to make it people friendly plan, and ecologically fragile regions particularly should be protected. There should be a sort of vigilance that no one is encroaching these ecologically fragile regions. We need to keep our floodplains, you know, free from obstruction. That means this is a wide area. This is a total floodplain. On normal season, this is your river here. This is river, right? So normal times we find that river's boundary is limited to these two places or these two banks. But during heavy rainfall, river can, or the water can expand to here as well. So what is happening for a very long period of time in our country, that we are building, you know, we are building residential area and commercial properties and other things here on this riverbed. This is something that is not acceptable. So we need to get rid of that habit as well. Factors that are responsible for this excessive rainfall in Kerala, or this flood in Kerala, not excessive rainfall, but this flood, is one is excessive rainfall. The second one is inadequate information about quantum of rain, inadequate planning along river banks, inadequate technical planning in reservoir management like dams and other things. Blame game and all these things was going on after this when we were going through this flood situation. So what we need is, we need proper weather radars, we need proper gadgets and information systems so that we can have some real-time data about it. We can plan ahead and things like that. We need to set up the standard operating procedure as far as this releasing water from the dams is concerned, adequate warning systems, and all these things. You know, we need to have latest technologies, and this is a thing that we can do it in Kerala, and later on it can be replicated in different parts of our country as well. As far as resources are concerned, right, state government, it can open its treasury, but that's not going to be enough. Union government can, you know, come out with a liberal amount, but that as well is not going to be enough. We need to borrow some money from the World Bank or some other institutions, just like Uttarakhand did. And we can also, you know, open our, you can say we should not feel bad about help if it is coming from abroad, if it is coming in terms of remittance or aid that is coming from country like UAE or any other country, right? Then we should not be embarrassed about this thing. Our priority should be to, you know, provide relief, and after that rehabilitation, and make sure that everyone is, you know, back to normal as soon as possible. To execute all these things, it's better that we set up a sort of registered society or a special purpose vehicle that will have operational freedom, that will be free from this bureaucracy, corruption and other things, so that we can win the trust of people. And if they will see results at ground level, you know, people will come out, people will start supporting, or you know, they can donate money on regular basis, and this will help in, you know, coming back to our feet. Setting up an institution could be a game changer, right? We can have multiple bodies at municipal, panchayat, village level, etc. The other thing is hospitals, schools. If you go back in Japan, what we find over there is in Japan they have you know, schools, hospitals and other public places. They are the most, you can say, they are all those latest technologies are deployed in constructing these items, because in case of this sort of disasters, you know, people will run towards school and hospitals and all these places where they know that buildings are quite safe, and you'll find food items and other things that will help you to survive and go through past 1 week or 2 weeks or something like that. So this is something that we need to do. We need to create new buildings that will have helipad facilities. We can create this helipad or helicopter or air rescue points and all these things. You know, new day, new dollar. With new thinking, we need to rebuild our Kerala. Insurance, banking, logistics, marketing support, all these items need to be redesigned so that we can cope up with this loss of livelihoods, and we can train people as well. As I told you this in the very starting of this lecture, we talked about this volunteers who contributed, you know, in coming out and helping this rescue operation missions and things like that. So this is the young energy that we have as a reserve, but if we don't train them, then we are not going to, you know, we will not get the most out of it. So what we need to do is we need to train our youngsters They should know do's and don'ts during this sort of situation. In school as well, we can add this sort of curriculum and things like that. Every family should have at least one person, who knows some basic preliminary things about disaster management. This will help a lot. So it will make it a bit easier, for people. They will know exactly what to do. And we can create this database, and we can share experience and good things and bad things and our mistakes and our positive points with each other. And of course, we need to respect nature, and we need to introduce new insurance products, because this is something that we have observed, that there was lack of awareness about insurance. So if we go through all these points, then what we find that most of the points are applicable on pan-India situation. And as I told you, that you find a disaster management question every year. So I believe this discussion will help you a lot in essay writing as well as your GS answer writing, or in general your awareness about this particular topic of disaster management. Now we have a country called Bulgaria, right? Our president was there in Bulgaria, and this is Bulgaria here. The capital is Sofia. It's sharing its border with Black Sea. And dear friends, we have signed 4 MOUs, one in civil nuclear cooperation, investment in tourism, cooperation on science and technology, and establishment of Hindi chair at Sofia University. With this, our President, Mr. Kovind, has welcomed Bulgaria in becoming our key partner in defense sector, in Make in India program, in IT, logistic, infrastructure, digital India, smart cities, etc. We have decided that we are going to work together in R&D, that is research and development. We are going to deploy, technologies of Bulgaria for cleaning our rivers. President also noted this thing, that from Black Sea to Indian Ocean, as you can see here, right? This is Black Sea here, and from here you can enter Mediterranean. From Suez Canal you reach Indian Ocean. So I have a question for you guys. Can you give me the name of the strait that you find here? What is the name of this strait here that is passing from Istanbul? That's question number 1 for you guys, right? So President said that Black Sea to Indian Ocean, we have vast treasure of a mineral well, and we need to deploy, we need to exploit it together, explore and exploit it together. Exploit not in a negative way, but in a positive way. And Bulgaria has supported India, and it is ready to support India for our entry into nuclear suppliers group. And also it is there for us, it is backing us for this United Nations Security Council permanent membership too. Second country and the last leg of President's visit is Czech Republic. The capital is Prague, as you can see on your screen. It's not sharing its border with any sort of ocean or sea. In fact, it's a landlocked country. It's sharing its border with many different European countries, as you can see here. Of course, when you download this file, you can go through it. You can see Poland and Germany and Slovakia and other country. Austria is there. So this is Czech Republic here, and with Czech Republic we have signed. We have decided that we are going to increase our business relationship, and President was there. This visit will enhance our relationship. Of course, he addressed the Indian business delegation over there. People of Czech Republic, they were quite happy because of this visit of President of India into their country, and we have gifted them Mahatma Gandhi's book called Hind Swaraj, and again this country too is supporting us for our permanent membership in United Nations Security Council. With this, we have one more international news, a small update that our Dr. Poonam Khetrapal Singh, she has been re-elected as a regional director for another 5-year term beginning from February 2019, and she is the first woman to have been elected to the position of this regional director for WHO Southeast Asia region. India and USA together, we had this 2+2 dialogue. It's between 2+2 basically means we have defense secretary or defense minister from USA and defense minister from India and foreign minister from India and a counterpart of our foreign minister from USA. So we talked about terrorism, we talked about H-1B visa, Indo-Pacific region, Iranian crude, Russia, right? All these topics we have talked about it earlier on as well, so I'm just giving you some brief about it. We also talked about this terrorism that is emanating from Pakistan. We are supporting this President Donald Trump's South Asia policy. And we talked about this H-1B visa, people-to-people contact, and all these things. The new item here is that we have signed COMCASA. COMCASA stands for Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement. Now, this COMCASA will help us to acquire latest advanced technologies from USA. And we have also decided that we are going to have this tri-services, that is Army, Navy, Air Force, joint exercises from both the sides, right? This ANA, that is Army, Navy, Air Force, will take part in this joint exercise in the eastern coast of India in 2019. COMCASA will further deepen our military-to-military partnership as well. Last item that I have for you guys is about Supreme Court. Supreme Court has, you can say, rejected, or it has deleted this section 377 of the Indian Penal Code, which criminalized consensual unnatural sex between two individuals of same sex. It was considered as a crime in our country, and because of this thing there were so many you can say LGBTQ people who were facing some sort of stigma and some sort of discrimination. So this judgment has been welcomed by United Nations as well, and it all started back in 1533 in Britain. And when they were ruling over us in 1861, they came out with this Indian Penal Code, and this section 377 was introduced in that IPC, and still it's going on. You know, it's a sort of colonial hangover that was going on till 6th September 2018. In India, it all started back in 2001. A case was filed in High Court. High Court said no to it. Supreme Court said that you need to reconsider that PIL. Then Delhi High Court said that there is nothing wrong if two individuals are having relationship. If they are agreeing on something, then government or the state should not interfere. But this was rejected by Supreme Court, right? But now what we find is that we have seen this ups and downs going on, and finally, because of these two cases, one was about privacy case, and the second one is about this right of transgender people, this NLSA, or National Legal Services Authority 2014. So because of these two cases, one is privacy one, and the second one is this National Legal Services Authority verdicts of 2014 and 2017. Finally, Supreme Court reached to this conclusion that there is nothing wrong with it. So that's everything in today's discussion. Again, I would like to remind you guys that please make sure that you share this lecture with other students, and do let me know how you are learning things from our discussion, how these special topics are helping you, or if it's not, and things like that. So do give me a review, and I'll wait for it. Enjoy your studies. Jai Hind.